Yo YouTube, it's Box here, and today, oh my god, it's New Year's Eve, and I can't believe we're very close to 2011. Looks like the whole year flew in that. But as for this video, I'm gonna have to get this done before the new year hits, my best games of 2010. And as you can see there, there's a good chunk of games for the 360, two for the Wii. You know, it's all in the info bar anyway, and one handheld game, as you can see that. So I'm gonna give you my top 10 personal games of 2010, but I'm gonna give a brief impression of all these games right here, and so let's get started. Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. I gotta admit this game wasn't pretty good as the original. Still a good-looking game. I mean, it's not my most disappointing game of 2010. Still a decent game for any Star Wars fan, and I was looking to have the collector's edition there. And that goes aside there. That doesn't go to the top 10 shelf. Well, here's one that's gonna make it. Alan Wake. I actually enjoyed this game a lot, though. I mean, I thought it was beautifully designed, and it's made by Remedy, the guys who made Max Payne, and there was just something very interesting about this game. I think it was the story, the way you had to use your right to kill your enemies, and hit them with the right and then shoot them, which I thought that was Mike Whitey said it was something like a One in the Dark, but it was done a bit better. I personally enjoyed this. It was definitely an overall game in my opinion. Medal of Honor, 2010 version. I gotta admit, this was probably my most disappointing game of 2010. When I first heard that EA was gonna bring the Medal of Honor series to the modern times, to compete with Modern Warfare and the other card games, but it didn't turn out exactly what I wanted to be. I mean, yeah, the campaign was decent, but couldn't get into multiplayer. I kept getting spawn killed every time. That was a big pain in the ass. Castlevania Wars of Shadows. Mixed opinions on this game. And many say it's not Castlevania, it's not like, like the retro guys likes to call it, what is it, Metroidvania. It's more like a God of War clone, but in my opinion, it's actually a pretty decent game though. I mean, combat's great, the boss battles are great, the graphics are amazing for this. Even the 360 has 2 discs. I really should have got this on the PS3, but it's not on the top 10 list, but it would be one of my most surprisingly good games. Another disappointing game was Alien vs Predator. Along with Medal of Honor, I knew this game was going to get bad reviews because Rebellion hasn't been doing that much great games. And for the past couple of years, they had Rogue Warrior, Shell Shock 2, which got terrible reviews, and many people were wondering what's going to happen with this. It's not bad as Rebellion's last other games, but it could have been done a lot better. Apart from the Predator sections, that was pretty awesome. Let's put this there. I just want to get to what we're. Hold on a sec. Here we are. BioShock 2. Some say this is not quite as good as the original, but I thought it was actually fun playing the Big Daddy. You being the first Big Daddy, and you have this big, massive drill. And the multiplayer was pretty decent while it lasted though. I mean, yeah, I think it was a little tad shorter than the first BioShock. Well, it wasn't the same team that did the the original, but I forgot the name. The new BioShock Infinite is coming out in possibly 2012. They had to announce it that early though. Okay. So, oh sorry, that was number 8. Number 9. Number 9, sorry. Jeez, I skittled that. Don't get one-sided. WWE SmackDown Versus War 2011. You saw this in my first video on YouTube, and I am a huge fan of the WWE games, and not to mention the TV series, apart from it being kid friendly. But you know, these games, this is my answer to FIFA and all the Madden games, and so far I'm enjoying it, but I haven't played much of it since I got stuck on one bit and where you had, this may be a little spoiler, but it's when you had to take out the Undertaker's end the Undertaker's WrestleMania career, and there was this section where you had to beat up Paul Bearer in just 90 seconds, and you had to knock him out, and I couldn't even knock out the fat fucker. So maybe I should use a creative wrestler instead. Right. Let's see now. I'm trying to get I'm gonna get number 8, and this is for the Wii. Donkey Kong Returns. You know, I give my brief impressions on this game, and this game is totally excellent for any retro platforming fan. Where Retro Studios, the guys who were behind the Metroid Prime series, has captured the essence of the Donkey Kong Country's formula, and you know, it feels the same. It feels you know, the graphics look very familiar, except this is on the Wii instead of the Super Nintendo. But it is very challenging game. I'll get that. It's very challenging. You know, old school style. But whoever has this and loves platformers, you know, old school platformers, give that one a shot. Okay, so Bayonetta. This was one of my first games of 2010, and I don't know. I have something that I like about it, some bit I don't like about it. I mean, this is you know what, 10 out of 10. Sorry, Edge, but that's not 10 out of 10 material. Yeah, you know, there was something and you know, the combat is fluid though. I mean, it's, you know, it's Platinum Games. They, you know, I used to write Mad World on the Wii since that was their first title, and this is you know, it's more of a, you know, it reminds me so much of Devil May Cry more than God of War or anything. It is hack and slash, and the boss battles were pretty you know, pretty fun to do, and the way, you know, the way they use Bayonetta's hair to, you make giant monsters and you chew them up into itty bitty pieces. That's a cool moment in the game. But I don't like the jazzy music, and the story just really bored me a lot though. But it's actually, but this year has been a very good game for hack and slashes, and this will be definitely on my top list for the action hack and slash genre. Sorry, I stuttered there a bit. Now, trying to get to number. Sorry about this. Splinter Cell. You know, I was interested in this game. You know, the way they changed the wildfire from the previous Splinter Cell games, and yeah, the story was pretty short, but I actually enjoyed this on the co-op sections. They were pretty fun to do. And I'm not going to give too brief on this since I, you know, didn't follow the plot that much and all that, but the action was pretty good though. And you know, Darksiders, very underrated game this, and you know, this year though, and probably one of this, you know, this generation. I find this I actually enjoy this game a bit more than Bayonetta anyway. I know it takes elements from God of War and Zelda, but you know, they took all the, you know, I like the art design in this, and you know, the way that the finishers and the boss battles were pretty damn good though. But I only made about 10 hours in this game and I just stopped playing it. But I do need to get back into this game somehow. Yes, I still saved there in there anyway. Well, hold on, just see now. Number 7 game. This was pretty hard to make my mind up though. So it was either, and they're both first-person shooters. I'll give it my brief impression anyway. Halo Reach. Now, this in my opinion is probably the last best game to come out of Bungie, since this is the final Halo game to come out of Bungie. But I have a good lot of time, you know, play this, you know, me and the lads play the game on co-op. But lads, if you're ever watching this, Please don't ever make me finish a game with co-op in one sitting. I was really getting tired, I lost concentration, but I just don't like finishing games on a one sitting. I'm a hardcore gamer, but there's sometimes I need to take a break and all that and get it. And I was pretty thirsty at the time as well, talking too much. Okay. It's a great game by Budgie. I'm not going to give much detail on it. It reaches number 7, and that's all I gotta say. And here was the one that, I put at the head of Halo Reach. Black Ops. Now, I was very interested in this when Treyarch announced this on the trailer. And, it's set in Vietnam, the Cold War. And, Treyarch, you know what a Call of Duty game is going to be about. Have good multiplayer, the zombies returned, and the campaign was pretty damn good though. It felt more like a Michael Bay film. Anyway, this is part 1 done. I gotta continue with part 2.